The name is Dale. I'm here to do the review of The Foreigner, Marshall, and The Mountains Between Us. First off, I'm going to do The Foreigner. This is the best Jackie Chan movie I've seen in a very long time. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, I really wanted to see it because you had Jackie Chan playing in a rated R, revenge, serious action movie. Not those comedies that we so accustomed to him playing in, where it's an action comedy and you got this kind of Three Stooges routine when he's getting in these fight scenes with these different dudes and it looking like something out of Three Stooges. No, this is serious and I really wanted to see it, and it didn't disappoint. It ended up being better than I thought it would be, and it ended up being more than just a revenge action movie. It's a terrorist slash action slash political thriller drama. In the movie's a Jackie Chan character, he owns a restaurant. He has a daughter, and his daughter gets killed in a terrorist bombing. And he's hell bent on finding out who did it and bringing justice to who was responsible for it. He's determined to get revenge. And that's really the meat of the movie, but it's more to it than that. You have Pierce Brosnan, who does a great job acting. This is the best that I've seen him in a long time. Yes, we talking about the former James Bond himself. He shines in this movie. He's the standout. And he's the prime minister of the IRA, which is like an Ireland coalition of people who have this treaty and this partnership, so to speak, kinda, with the British government. And there's a lot of family betrayal, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of political scandals going on. So it's a good mixture. It's not just the action flick. And what's amazing about Jackie Chan, he's 61 and he's still doing his own stunts and his own fight scenes, which is crazy. And the movie, it has its good share of fights and action, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it. It's not a lot. It's enough. It's just enough. There are also moments where there's dialogue and story, so it makes it more than just an action flick. And I was listening to a critic that I respect before I went to go see the movie, and he was saying that the film tried to do too much, that it should have just stayed a revenge story. And I totally disagree with him. I think it's a good balance. I love how they combine all these different components. It's almost like you could have split this up and made two different movies, but they work well together. And I definitely think you should go see it. Go see it in the theater. I give it an A-. Alright, let's move on to the movie Marshall, starring Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman has become the king of black bioflicks. He played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42. He played James Brown in the movie Get On Up. Now he's playing a young Thurgood Marshall in the movie Marshall. This movie is about Thurgood Marshall when he's a lawyer, before he becomes the first African American to be a judge on the Supreme Court. It's about a particular case. I believe he sent to Connecticut to get this guy off, this black guy off, who's accused of raping this white lady who he works for. And this is the case that made a name for Thurgood Marshall. This is the case that made people take notice, to kind of build his legacy, so to speak. And the movie also stars Josh Gad, who plays a Jewish lawyer who partners up with Thurgood Marshall to help get this guy off. And they have to navigate through all this racism, because this is before the Civil Rights Act was passed. He still had separate bathrooms and separate water fountains in certain places blacks couldn't go. So he has to go through all this and jump all these hurdles, and he's against all this racism to try to get this black guy off who's accused of raping his employer. So the movie also stars Sterling K. Brown, who's I think mostly known for that TV series he's in called This Is Us. And I believe Reggie Huntley did the directing. If you're not familiar with him, he did the first House Party movie, and he did Boomerang back in the day. The movie has its Hollywood by the number routines and scenes, but I found it kind of fascinating because I didn't know the history of Thurgood Marshall. I didn't know anything about him before he became a judge on the Supreme Court. So that was interesting to see who he was before then. It's a solid movie, but not a great movie. I give it a B-. finally, we get to The Mountain Between Us, starring Idris Elba and Kate Winslet. This movie is about two strangers who end up on this small, I would say 4-passenger plane that crashes in a remote snow-covered mountain in the middle of nowhere. And they have to depend on each other to survive through the winter. Very cold, out in the wilderness. And these two people don't know each other. They just met each other on that plane. And I'm not going to spoil it. You're going to have to see the movie to find out how these two strangers end up on this small plane together. And I was really digging this movie until the end. The end is very cliche. It's corny. And for me, a bad ending to a movie can downgrade a movie. I can be loving a movie, and if they don't execute the end right, it can just drop it down for me. And that's what this movie did. I was really digging it. I was all into it until that end. And kind of ruined it for me. So I'm going to give it a C+. It's a good survival movie until the end. And there you have it.